Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome back to our Saturday and Sunday morning sessions on the Shri Harinam Chintamani. We will just recap what we discussed in the last class and then we will continue our discussion. In the last class, we began our discussion on the actual book Shri Harinam Chintamani, the invocation, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he gives the setting that is in Nilachal where Jagannath is there who is giving happiness as well as liberation. He has come in the Archa Rupa, and in that same Dham, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to bless human society to teach the heart of true religion. In the house of Kashi Mishra, he's staying there. And he has got his own devotees, liberated devotees, Gaurangera Jana Nitya Mukta Karimani. He's got his own associates and he has taught Krishna Prem. He heard the science of Krishna Prem from Ramanand Rai in the South India Yatra. He heard also the Nam, the glories of Nam through Haridas Thakur. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the discussion begins here from the 5th verse, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquires how the Kali Yuga Jivas can be easily liberated. Ishe Jiva Tare Anayas. Anayas means easily, how they can easily be liberated. And then Haridas Thakur, expresses his humilities in few verses. We saw that. And then after expressing his humility and glories, he begins his, propounding how the Lord is like the sun and the Jiva is like a kan. He's like a sun ray. And what is the Lord's position? The Lord is Prabhu and the Jiva is the Das. And this is how he slowly philosophically begins his discussion. And then he tells, although I am fallen, because you have ordered me to speak, I will start speaking. So from text 12 onwards, he starts giving the ontology. Ontology means the philosophy about Krishna. Krishna is what? He is Sarveshwar. And Krishna means also his energies. Nija Shakti Yoga, Krishna Vibhu Paratpar. You know, he's the master of the potencies. So Krishna is potent and he has unlimited potencies. So the potent and the potencies are always together. And he is the greatest of the greatest. And Krishna is never independent of his potencies. The potencies always stay with the potent. Just like fire uh, has the potencies of heat and light, and the heat and light are not independent of fire. So similarly, Krishna is identical to his potencies. And then he starts explaining Krishna is Vibhu and he has the Vaibhav Sarup. The Vaibhav are his potencies, the powers and glories, what is mentioned. And his powers and glories have no ends. Now, at this point, we discussed from the slides how that Krishna has these potencies. The Ishwar has the Achit, the Chit, and the Jiva Shaktis. So the Achit is the material energy, the Chit is the spiritual energy, and the Jiva is the marginal energy or the Tatastha Shakti. This is called as the Antaranga Shakti, the Bhairanga Shakti. Sorry, this is called as, this is the Antaranga Shakti. The Chit Shakti is called as Antaranga Shakti. And this is called as the Bhairanga Shakti, the Maya Shakti, and the Jiva Shakti. So now the Chit Vibhav is what he starts discussing. Trivida Vibhav, three kinds of potencies. What are they? Spirit, matter, and the individual souls. And from verse 17 onwards, he starts explaining the Chit Vibhav. From the spiritual potency manifest the Vaikuntha loks, Krishna's names, Govinda, Hari, Krishna. So these are all manifesting from the Chit Vibhav. And the two-armed form of Krishna, the original form of Krishna, and Krishna's only business is to give bliss to his devotees. Bhaktananda Prada. In Braj, he performs Ras Leela, and the same Krishna in Navdeep pastimes, he performs Sankirtan. And A Samasta Chidvaivav Aprakrit Hoy, Asya Oi A Prapanche, Prapanchika Noy. So all these Krishna's abode, Krishna's name, are all belonging to the Chit Vaibhav. And they are not prapanchika, they are not material, although they manifest in this material world. So Krishna's abode in Vrindavan looks to be part of this material world, but it is completely spiritual. So this we have to have a very, very clear understanding. So in this context, we discussed from the slides this important principle, and many devotees had questions. So I'm just briefly recapping what we discussed. So Krishna has his Chit Shakti, the internal potency, and it has many divisions, unlimited divisions. But what the discussion is, only that we have taken up. The Vibhav, Chit Vibhav, as he said, the Chitta Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, and the Maya Shakti. Spirit, matter, and the living beings. And the Prabhav are some of the other Shaktis, the Ichha Shakti, Dhyana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. There is the Karuna Shakti, by which Krishna became merciful to Mother Yashoda and allowed him to bind. The Satya Sankalpa Shakti, Anything Krishna desires, it is automatically performed. So there are like this unlimited Shaktis of Krishna which are operating in the spiritual world. And within this Anubhav is the Sandhini, Samvit, and the Ladini Shakti. So here is where we had stopped our discussion in the last class after studying the footnote, and how these three energies are connected with Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. So from the Chit Shakti, that is the spiritual energy, the spiritual world, Krishna's forms, names, qualities, and pastimes are manifest. The Jiva's spiritual existence, the Jiva's name, place appear in the spiritual world. Here in the material world, the spiritual existence is temporary. It ends with the body. The names also what Jiva gets here, they are temporary. The place is also temporary. And from the Maya Shakti, the Sandhini potency which manifests the spiritual world also manifests the material world through Balram. Balram manifests, Krishna's first expansion is Balram, who manifests the entire spiritual world for Krishna's pastimes. Similarly, as Sankarshan and Mahavishnu, the same Balram manifests the material worlds, the material forms, the material qualities and actions. The Samvit potency has to do with the spiritual moods, the Sakya, Dasya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, moods in which we worship Krishna. So the Jiva gets knowledge about God through the Samvit potency, but the bliss cannot be attained. The highest bliss is only attained in Bhakti Yoga. And the same Samvit, in the Maya Shakti gives us worries, hopes, speculations, thoughts for the conditioned soul. So the Ladini Shakti expands prema and gives spiritual bliss, Bhaktananda. So there is Jadananda, there is Brahmananda, and there is Premananda. So these are these three different Anand which we experience. And this is Jadananda here, we can see. This is Premananda. So this is how these three Shaktis operate. So this is where we had stopped in the last class, text 20. Now let us go to text 21. We studied the footnote, that is all the Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini potency. And Yogamaya is also considered as the potency of the spiritual potency of the Lord. Let us go to text 21 now. Chid Vyapara Samudaya Vishnu Tattvasar Vishnu Pada Boli Vede Gaye Barabar. Lord Krishna's powers and glories are Lord Krishna himself. Chid Vyapar. Chid Vyapar means all Lord Krishna's powers and glories. Samudaya Vishnu Tattvasar. Our Lord Krishna himself, Vishnu Tattva, they are Vishnu Tattva. So there is no difference between Shakti and Shaktiman. Again and again, the Vedas use the word Vishnupad. Vishnupad Boli Vede, Lord Vishnu himself or Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, to describe his powers and glories. Gai Barabar. So Vishnu's Pada or Vishnu refers to his powers and his glories. Now we'll go to the next section. So Vishnu Tattva was mentioned. Now in this section, that is section 22 to 27, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains Lord Krishna's spiritual powers and glories are all situated in pure goodness. They are Lord Krishna himself. So this is the section which we are going to discuss now. Nahitaha jada dharma maya ravikar jadatita Vishnu tattva shuddha sattva sar. Lord Krishna or Vishnu tattva is not a transformation of matter. Nahi tahe jada dharma maya vikar. This is referring to the previous verse. In the previous verse, it was mentioned as Vishnu tattva. Na? So that Vishnu tattva, nahi tahe, jada dharma maya vikar, they are not transformations of matter. Jadatita Vishnu Tattva. He is situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva Sar. He is beyond matter, Jad Atita. So this Vishnu or Krishna is transcendental to matter. Although he might come in the material world, still he is beyond, he doesn't get transformed into matter. Mayavadi philosophers think that even when the Lord appears as incarnations in this world, his body is made of Maya. That is what is called as Mayavad philosophy. Avajananti mama muda manushim tanumashita. Those who are avajananti, who are fools, they think, this form is a human body like our bodies, Avyakta Vyaktimapanna Manyante Mam Abuddhaya. As Krishna also tells in the Bhagavad Gita 7.24, the absolute truth is unmanifested as Brahman. And when he manifests here in this world in the form, these forms are also made of Maya, but known. The Vishnu Tattvas or Krishnas are all situated in pure goodness. Shuddha Sattva Rajastamo Gandha Viharita Rajastamo Mishra Sattva Suvidita. Pure spirit, that is the Chit Shakti, pure spirit, Shuddha Sattva, is not mixed with even the slightest tinge of the mode of passion. Rajastamo Gandha Virita. Virita means it is devoid of. Goodness mixed with passion or ignorance is called as Mishra Sattva, mixed goodness. It is called as mixed goodness. So before we go to the footnote for text 23, let me go to the slides and explain. While Suta Goswami in the Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter, establishes that it is only bhakti which is the essence of dharma. Savai pumsan paro dharma yato bhaktir adokshaje ahetuki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. And how Varnashram is the best vehicle by which we can practice pure devotion, and that is the goal of Varnashram, and please Krishna. And by practicing this bhakti, what happens? Right from the stage of Shraddha, you can attain prema. In few verses, he explains. Now, actually, from this section 22 to 29, actually, Suta Goswami proves that it is only Vishnu or Krishna who is situated in pure goodness. He is the object of worship. And here is that section. Amongst the Guna avatars, only Vishnu is to be worshipped. Although Vishnu is the Guna avatar for the mode of goodness, but he is situated in pure goodness. He is transcendental, and that is why only, Vishnu is the object of worship. It is not Shiva, it is not Brahma or any other Devata. So this he starts proving from these verses, because it is mentioned that Vishnu is situated in Shuddha Sattva. These two verses prove, and that's why I'm taking these verses. So let us recite this verse. Sattvam rajastama iti prakriter gunastraya yukta para purusha eka ihaste datte sthittadaya hari virinchi hareti samya shreyamsi tatra kalu sattva tanur nranamsu. The one supreme Purusha, Eka Purusha Para, that Supreme Purusha is Krishna, who is Para, who is transcendental, accepting ihaste datte. Datte means to accept the gunas of Prakriti. Yukta Prakritir gunas traye, the three gunas. What are they? Known as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Sattvam, Rajas, Tama iti. For what? Creation, maintenance and destruction. Sthit adaya. Sthiti adaya. Adaya means so on. That is sthiti, pralaya and maintenance. Is called Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva. So the Lord accepts these guna-avatars for creation, maintenance and destruction. For creation, he accepts the guna-avatar of Brahma. For maintenance, he accepts the Gunavatar as Vishnu, and for destruction as Shiva. And they are called as Hari. Hari is Vishnu, Virinchi is Brahma, and Hara. Hara is Shiva. The best results, Shriyamsi, for the devotees, Ranam Siva, will come from Vishnu with Shuddha Sattva body. Tatra Kalo Sattva Tanur. So only Vishnu, although he accepts the role of maintenance, he is called as the Guna Avatar for the mode of goodness, but he has a body which is Shuddha Sattva. So even Vishnu, who comes in this material world as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu, all these who are present in the other side of the Karana Sagar, the Virja, which separates the material and the spiritual worlds, although they appear in this material realm, their bodies are completely spiritual. Further, next to next verse, 25th verse, Sud Goswami further clarifies, Vijare munayo athagre bhagavantam madokshajam sattvam vishuddham shemaya kalpante nutaniha. Therefore, the ancient sages, Athagre Munayo, the great sages, worshipped. Vijare means bhajan or to worship. Supreme Lord beyond the material senses, Bhagavantam Adokshajam, composed of Vishuddha Sattva. Sattvam Vishuddham. So Vishuddha Sattva is called as what is called as pure goodness. Those who follow Ye Anu, the sages, attain Kalpante, liberation in this world, Shemaya. So highest liberation is again Krishna Prem, that later on Sut will make it clear. So the point here, which was Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioning, is that the Lord's body is situated in pure goodness. It is in pure goodness. That is the most important point. But goodness mixed with passion and ignorance is called as Mishra Sattva. So there is Shuddha Sattva or Vishuddha Sattva, which is called, or Mishra Sattva. Now let us see what is this Mishra Sattva, the footnote. Goodness is of two kinds, pure goodness and mixed goodness. All goodness in the Lord's spiritual powers and glories is pure goodness. All goodness in the dull material world is mixed goodness. So in the dull material world, everything is not just situated in goodness. It is Mishra Sattva. There is goodness which is mixed with passion and ignorance. There is no quality called as just goodness in this material world. Goodness will have a mixture of passion and ignorance. In pure goodness, passion and ignorance are not present. This is a very important point to be noted. Vishuddha Sattva or Shuddha Sattva, there is no passion and ignorance. From passion comes birth. Spiritual existence is beginless and has no passion, which would bring births and beginnings. So the spiritual existence is beginless, anadi, it has no beginning, because, to begin something, there has to be mode of passion, birth has to be there. So there is spiritual existence is ever existing. So it is beyond beginning or beyond birth. Spiritual existence has no ignorance either. Ignorance brings destruction and death and destruction. So pure goodness has no beginning and no destruction. It is ever existing. So this is how the spiritual world is. Therefore, absent of passion and ignorance, spiritual existence is characterized as an eternal present. Nitya Vartamana. Nitya Vartaman means it is ever present. It is always ever present. So that is the state of pure goodness. The Supreme Lord's Amsha avatars, who are all non-different from him, are always situated in pure goodness. So we saw also how this Vishnu who is a Gunavatar, is also situated in Vishuddha Sattva. The touch of Maya makes goodness become mixed with passion and ignorance. Shiva and the demigods are more virtuous than the conditioned souls. Proud of their superiority, the demigods have goodness that is considered mixed with passion and ignorance. This is called as Mishra Sattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, is situated in pure goodness. When employing his inconceivable potencies, he descends to the material world. He always remains in pure goodness. He always remains the master of Maya. Maya always follows his commands. So, even though when he comes in this material world of Maya, he still remains in pure goodness. So, this is a very important point for us to understand the difference between Mishra Sattva and Shuddha Sattva. Now, before he comes to, how the Kali Yuga Jivas can be easily liberated, he's giving the philosophy behind how the Lord's abode, the Lord's name are all transcendental. The Lord's, these by explaining these three energies. Now, further, Govinda Vaikunthanatha Karanodashai Garbhodashai or Shira Sindhushai. Lord Krishna manifests his forms as Govinda. Govinda is in Golok Vrindavan. He is called as Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Vijami. Vaikuntanath is in the Vaikuntha Lokas. He is called as Vaikuntanath or Narayan. Karanadakshay Vishnu in the Karan Sagar. Garbhodakshay Vishnu in the Garbhodak Sagar. And Shirodakshay Vishnu who resides in the Shira Sagar. So all these manifestations right from Golok Vrindavan to Vaikuntha, to Karan Ocean, Garbhodak Ocean, and Shai Ocean. Systematically, all these names are there. Arayata Swamsha Parichita Avatara Shaishaba Shuddha Sattva Vishnu Tattva Sar. He also manifests many other Amsha avatars, incarnations. They are all his expansions, Vishnu Tattva, and they are all situated in pure goodness. So the many other unlimited Amsha avatars like Vara, Matsya, Kurma, all are Amsha avatars and they are all situated in pure goodness. Goloke Vaikunte Arakarana Sagare Atava E Jada Thake Vishnu Namadhare. Appearing in Golok, Vaikunta, the Karana Sagar, or in the material world, the Lord is known as Vishnu. So the Lord appears in different manifestations. In Golok, he appears as Sham Sundar, Dvivija, Murlidhar. In Vaikunt, he comes in the Chaturbhuj form. In the Karana Sagar, he comes in a gigantic form where he takes the role of creating unlimited universes. And or appearing in the material world. In the material world, he appears as Vishnu, who is one of the Gunavatars. Although he is beyond the three modes, he is pure goodness. But he is famous and known as Vishnu. Even in the Puranas and in all scriptures, Vishnu is the personality who is very famous and who is known as very transcendental. The glories of Krishna are very, very hidden even in the scriptures. So this is how systematically Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining. Praveshi e jada vishwa mayara adhisha Vishnu nama prapta vibhu sarvadeva isha mayara ishvara mai shuddha sattva maya. He enters the material world. Praveshi e jada vishwa. Lord Krishna remains the controller of Maya. Mayara Adhish. Adhish means he is the controller of Maya. The name Vishnu still refers to him. Vishnu Nama Prapta Vibhu. He is still all powerful. He is Vibhu. He is still the master of all demigods. Sarva Deva Ish. He is the Sarva Deva Ish. He is still the controller of Maya. Mayara Ishwar. Maya is still his property. He is still situated in pure goodness. Maya Shuddha Sattva Maya. So although he comes in this material world, these are the qualities. He is Maya Adish. His still names remains as Vishnu. Vishnu means who is transcendental. He is Sarvadeva Ish, and he is Maheshwar, and he is still situated in Shuddha Sattva. So there is a footnote here. Let us see what is the footnote. When they descend to the material world, the Lord's powers and glories do not become material. They remain always spiritual. They are manifested by the Lord's inconceivable potencies, Achinta Shakti. They are always spiritual and always in pure goodness. So if you have any questions as we are discussing, you can always raise your hands, and we can take up in between also. So after discussing Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, now Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one verse discusses Mishra Sattva. Okay, there is one question. Let us take up this question. Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu. The question is from, I think, last session, Prabhu, where it is mentioned spirit, matter, and individual soul. So when we say spirit, means it already indicating the soul. So how are we to understand spirit, matter, and individual soul, Prabhu?
Okay, interesting question. So spirit, matter, and individual soul, their spirit refers to the Chitta Shakti. The Chitta Shakti is referred as spirit. Chitta Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. So that is how Sat Chit Anand. Sat refers to the eternal Sandhini potency. Chit refers to the Samvit potency, and Anand refers to the Ladini potency. So like that, sometimes these terminologies are used, and we have to understand, in the context. So Prabhupada also uses these terminologies when he discusses, in the Bhagavad Gita. He says spirit, matter, and controller of both. That is the super soul. So that is MSC, matter, spirit, and controller of both. So there, he refers to the super soul. So that is in the material world. So like that, these terminologies are used in different contexts. But here, spirit refers to actually the Chit Sakti, the spiritual energy. The spiritual energy. And there again, now there are divisions, which we saw the divisions. So like that, we have to understand it. Okay, Tirthpad Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, you told that Karanadaksha Vishnu, he is in Vishuddha Sattva.
Yes.
And from him, Brahmaji originates. So how, but Brahmaji have that passionate nature. So how when he is pure and he is Vishuddha Sattva, from him where that passionate thing comes.
Okay. So not Karandakshay Vishnu, it is Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Garbhodakshay Vishnu or Kshirodakshay Vishnu for that matter, both are in Vishuddha Sattva. And when Brahmaji appears, so the creation happens at different levels. First, Vishnu glances at Pradhan. Now, Mahavishnu, although he glances, he doesn't come in contact with Pradhan. He doesn't come in touch with Maya. It is only through Shambhu, the union of Shambhu and Durga, Shiva. Pradhan is Durga. The material manifestation of the cosmic universes begin. Similarly, when Garbhodakshay Vishnu, creates the 14 planetary systems, he is also transcendental, and the 14 planetary systems which manifest as a lotus, and the stem of these lotus are all the 14 planetary systems. So even though he manifests these material worlds, he is transcendental to it. So that we have to have very clear understanding. So spirit, spirit can produce matter and be beyond matter. The spiritual energy of the Lord can produce matter and he can be beyond matter also. He cannot be affected by matter. Now, to give you a clear example for this to understand, like we are a combination of matter and spirit. And when we procreate, it is actually the spirit which is there. And because of that, slowly in the womb and when the child comes out, the child grows. Because of the presence of spirit, matter expands, and that's how the growth happens, birth, growth, and then dwindling and death. So this is in our experience. Similarly, Prabhupada explains in the spiritual world, spirit can expand and spirit can exist there and expand there. So we also, when we take birth in the spiritual world, in fact we take birth in first Golok Vrindavan, not Golok Vrindavan, Bhaum Vrindavan, where Krishna's pastimes we enter after we are completely pure in prema bhakti stage. So there also there is a birth which happens, but that birth is almost completely spiritual, and there our bodies are spiritual, and they grow also from childhood and they attain a particular age where we participate in Krishna's pastimes. So spirit also can expand, and spirit can expand and be beyond the touch of Maya. Because one of the qualities here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining, he is Maya Adhish, Maya Ishwar. So he doesn't get affected by Maya. So that is how we should understand. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
So now let us go to the next verse. 28th one verse, he explains what is Mishra Sattva. Mishra Sattva Brahma Shiva Adi Sabohoy. Brahma, Shiva, and all the demigods are situated in goodness. Mixed goodness, Mishra Sattva. Now, we have a misconception sometimes about this goodness, passion, and ignorance. So here in this slide, I have brought it out. So here are the 14 planetary systems, the heavenly planets, the Swargalok, the Martyalok, and the Patalok. So these are the 3 divisions sometimes we make. And then there is the Bhu, Bhuvar, Swargalok, Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok, Satyalok. There is the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. So the upper planetary systems are situated predominantly in the mode of goodness. But it is not pure goodness, it is Mishra Sattva. So there is goodness, passion, goodness, ignorance. The middle planetary systems is predominated by the mode of passion. So there is passion goodness, passion, and passion ignorance. And the lower planetary systems are situated in the mode of ignorance. So within ignorance also there is ignorance goodness, ignorance passion, and ignorance. So this is how we should understand. So Brahmaji is situated in Satloka where the goodness quality is to the highest. And he's also more in goodness. That's why he's considered as Brahmana. Brahmaji among the Devatas, Brahmaji is a Brahmana because he's more situated in goodness. But he's also having passion, the mode of passion, because by which he creates, So there is passion. And the Devatas who are situated in the Swargaloka, they are also having goodness, but the passion is more because the Devatas are considered as Kshatriyas. The administrative demigods, they take part in, wars, between the Devas and the demons. Sometimes wars happen, even in the heavenly planets. Sometimes the lower planetary Asuras, attack the Devas. It happens. Bali Maharaj attacked Indraloka. So the Devatas, although they are situated in the mode of goodness, although the mode of goodness is predominant there, but still they are considered as Kshatriyas. Whereas Brahmaji doesn't take part in any war and doesn't have any astras. So he is more a Brahmanical and compared to the Devatas. So even in this, Martyalok or Bhuloka, when Vidur and Maitreya Samvad happens in the third canto, it is mentioned that Praya Raja Pradhan, the people who stay in the Bhumandala, they are Raja Pradhan. So the mode of passion is very prominent. And within passion, there is the goodness quality also there to certain high degree. And there, this person is called as a Brahmana. And those who have more passion, they are called as Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and then Shudras. So this division also is there here. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, which division is done. So this has different gradations at different levels. So for the Bhuloka, Raja is Pradhan. So this is how we should understand. So there is always Mishra Sattva in the entire material. The Sattva is mixed with the goodness and passion and ignorance. I hope this is clear to you. If you have any questions regarding this, you can raise your hands. It's very important that we understand this. The modes are always, they're called as trichromatic. Trichromatic means there is a combination. It's not that somebody is very passionate means he has only passion. There is a little bit of goodness and also ignorance. It's always mixed. Yes, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. When we say that, if you see these modes dividing, it is mostly looks like on the geographical level, on the planetary system level, they are bound to be with that mode predominantly. So when we consider our situation, we are in Bhurloka, so we are predominantly in passion. So when we want to come to that Vishuddha Sattva, is it right understanding that we have to use our mode of passion in such a way that we will come out of this mixed modes and come to Shuddha Sattva? So that's why can we consider that Karma Yoga is the most suitable process for the people who are on the earthly planet?
Okay, so with this discussion now, many things became clear that geographically, we can see that the middle planetary systems are, I'll take one question after another. Let me finish this first. Geographically, we see that the mode of passion is, in the middle planetary systems, and the mode of goodness is there in the higher planetary systems. Again, it is mixed, as it is called Mishra Sattva, and the mode of ignorance is prominent in the lower planetary systems. Again, it is mixed. So, looks like from this discussion that for us, Karma Yoga is situated, until we come to Shuddha Sattva. Not really. Bhakti is one thing you have to understand is completely transcendental. The process of bhakti, although somebody might be in the mode of passion or ignorance, the activities of chanting or of whatever devotional activities, they are completely transcendental, but we might be affected by the modes. So with the practice of bhakti, slowly we have to transcend these modes. So goodness is also present in the middle planetary systems. So we have to take to those activities which are more in the mode of goodness, like staying in the countryside, or taking prasadam, which is more in the mode of goodness. So what happens is, especially when we speak about this chart, what I was showing you, that passion is there, but we try to increase the quality of goodness within ourselves while practicing devotional service. And slowly, the chitta becomes free from the modes of passion and ignorance, and we become more situated in the mode of goodness. Tada rajas tamo bhava Kamalobhadascheteta, Kamalobhadascheteta, Chet eter anavidham, stitvam satve prasidati. The chitta, the heart, is more predominated by the modes of passion and ignorance, and that is why there is kama and lobha. But the effects of modes of raja and tama will get completely pacified. You know, after this is after the verse, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. After this verse, this is the verse. When one is situated in nishta, the effects of the modes, will come down, will be completely pacified, and one will be situated in the mode of goodness. Sitve satvam prasidati. In fact, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur goes on to mention that he will be situated in Shuddha Sattva. So please understand, the bhakti process is completely transcendental. It is belonging to the Chit Shakti of the Lord. It is belonging to the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. So when the Chit Shakti slowly manifests in the heart by the process of devotional service, then we will be able to transcend the modes. Otherwise, why in the Bhagavad Gita Krishna would have spoken in the 14th chapter of how to transcend the modes? Mam cha vibicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samiti tetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So this is a very important point for us to understand. And whatever proclivity or the passionate nature we have, we use it in devotional service and slowly purify ourselves from the effects of the modes. Dr. Surajit Chakravarti Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. What's your question?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Very clear, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I just got an answer from your talk. I just wanted to clarify whether I'm right or wrong. When we are reading chapter number 3, Bhagavad Gita, Shloka 36, that lust is the main cause of our trouble. So, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, like it is the soul originally has a tremendous amount of attraction for Lord Krishna.
Correct.
But when he comes down to this material world, this lust is transformed into, this attraction is transformed into lust.
Correct.
And as it comes in contact with mode of passion and ignorance further, it turns into wrath. It gets transformed into anger and wrath. Now, my question is, since we heard and we understood that all that is related to Lord is in Shuddha Sattva, in it is in pure goodness. So, the answer is like that if this soul, which was having a continuous attraction for the Lord Sri Krishna, is in contact with ignorance and passion here, gets his affection converted into lust and further into wrath, and he is degrading down. The same soul, when he comes in contact with the pure goodness through bhakti, he slowly elevates himself. So that is the purpose of every day getting in touch with somehow or other with these potencies of the Lord. That is what is the process of bhakti.
Yes, you are correct about it.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada in that purport, makes a very remarkable point there. He says, when this desire, kama, is not fulfilled, then it turns into wrath, anger, and other corollaries. That means it goes more into the mode of ignorance. And he says that one can become free from this by slowly, trying to adopt a mode of living which is in the mode of goodness. So, the best way to transcend these modes and effects of the modes of passion and ignorance is to directly come in contact with Vishuddha Sattva. So Vishuddha Sattva for us is the holy name, because the holy name is completely transcendental. It is as good as the Lord. So the more we come in contact with Vishuddha Sattva, the more slowly, because these modes are very, very powerful. These are the most powerful universal forces in this creation. So slowly, by coming more in contact with the Vishuddha Sattva, the deities of the Lord, the holy name of the Lord, and especially the pure devotees of the Lord, we can develop that, transform that, karma into prem. So that is the point Srila Prabhupada makes in that purport. You're correct about it.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, yeah. You have anything? 1 second. Oh, what was it? Any other questions? Any other questions regarding this Mishra Sattva? I hope this whole explanation was clear. It is very important for us to understand this. Okay, so now let us come to the next verse. After Mishra Sattva, then the next theme is, in this only one verse, he says the manifestation of his spiritual powers. Chid Vaibhara Vishriti. E samasta Vishnu Tattva Ara Vishnu Dham Tava Chid Vaibhava Nata Tava Leela Gram. O Lord, your Vishnu Tattva forms, your Vishnu Dham abodes, Vishnu Dham, and your transcendental pastimes, Tava Leela, are all manifested by your spiritual potency. So the Chid Vaibhav, the spiritual, Chit Vaibhav, what we discussed, the Vishnu Tattvas, the Vishnu Dhams, and the pastimes are all belonging to the spiritual potency of the Lord. Now here is the Sambandha Gyan given first. The Sambandha Gyan is what Ishwar. That was how the Bhaktivinoda Thakur began. Parameshwar, Sarveshwar, he is supreme independent conscious entity. And his Antaranga Shakti is what is called as the Chit Shakti or the spiritual energy. It manifests Dham, Rupa, Nama, and Guna and Leelas. And all these belong to the what? Chid Vaibhav. These all belong to the Chid Vaibhav. Now, from next verse onwards, Bhaktivinoda Thakur what is the shloka number, Prabhuji, in Bhagavad Gita about Kamesha Krodesha? That is 3.36. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes to the discussion of Maya Vaibhav. After discussing the Chit Vaibhav, then he speaks about the Achit Vaibhav or the Maya Tattva, the material energy. Virajare pare yata vastu hai achit vaibhava tava chaudalokamaya. O Lord, on the farther bank of the Viraja river is your material potency, which consists of 14 worlds. Virajara e pare means the other side of the Viraja river. Viraja river, we have heard about this Viraja river, which separates the material world and the spiritual worlds. Viraja means Vigata Rajas. It is beyond, the modes of passion and ignorance. That means the Viraja is also completely spiritual in one sense. It is where the Brahma Jyoti of the Lord's Kanti is manifest. And this is the Viraja river or the Karan Sagar where Mahavishnu lies. So beyond that is what? The Maya potency, Achit Vaibhav, which consists of the 14 planetary systems. Mayar Vaibhava Boli Bale Devi Dham Panchabhuta Mano Buddhi Ahankara Nam. These worlds are in the realm of Maya. They are called Devi Dham. They are made of 5 gross material elements and the subtle material elements of mind, intelligence, and ego. So there is a footnote here. The earthly planets are made of 5 material elements. The gross material bodies of the conditioned souls are also made of the five material elements. These are all made of gross matter. The conditioned soul's mind, intelligence, and false ego are his subtle material body. This is also made of matter. The individual soul, which is a spiritual spark, is by nature situated in pure goodness. So this is a very important point for us to note. The individual spirit spark is, situated in pure goodness. It is transcendental to the three modes, but now it is conditioned by the subtle and the gross bodies, and conditioned by this Maya Shakti in the form of the material world and the 14 planetary systems. One of our sannyasis during this lockdown period was giving a talk, and he said, we are in a lockdown, what to do about this situation? So the sannyasi replied that the entire 14 planetary systems is a lockdown for the conditioned soul. That is how he was explaining. So we are always under a lockdown. We are locked in this gross and subtle bodies. We are locked in this 14 planetary systems. We are locked in this Brahmanda in one sense. In his original form, he has a mind, intelligence, and ego that are made of pure goodness. These are spiritual. They are different from the subtle material body. So this is a very important point for us to understand, that the soul in the material world, how it is operating. And let me try to explain and try to understand this statement. The soul hears through the gross ear. This is called as karana. And there is a subtle, ear in the antakaran, that is called as, Shrotram Chakshu Sparshanam Cha Rasanam Granamesh. Shrotram. Shrotram is the internal, organ. And then it is the soul who smells through the external gross element, that is the nose, and the subtle element which is called as grana. Grana is situated in the antakaran, it is chit. It is part of the subtle body, and it is part of the material intelligence and material mind and the material ego. So it is the soul who hears through the ears and the subtle organ. It is the soul who experiences the touch of smell, the touch of taste, all these, but in its false identity as the enjoyer. But when these subtle coverings are destroyed by the practice of bhakti, then the spiritual mind, the spiritual intelligence awakens, and the spiritual ego. What is the real spiritual ego? That I am, having a swarupa. Jivera swarupa hai, Krishnera nityadas. So right now, the soul uses the mind to think. Our thoughts, we think sometimes are coming from the mind, but it is the soul which is using the faculty of the mind to think. The soul uses the faculty of the intelligence to discriminate. And the soul has its, perverted ego of an identity of ahankar, that I am enjoyer in this world because of the avidya shakti, which is covering its real, identity. So that is how these three material coverings, subtle coverings, belong to the subtle body. These are matter. But again, there are spiritual mind, there is a spiritual mind, there is a spiritual intelligence, and there is a spiritual ego, and they are spiritual. So this Prabhupada explains many times in this Bhagavad Gita, one purport, he says that, the intelligent souls take shelter of one of the Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual world, whereas the less intelligent souls, they get just liberated in the Brahmajyoti. So there, when he is speaking about intelligent souls, he means the spiritual intelligence, the spiritual intelligence. So this is an important point to be noted, and that's why I brought up this point. Any questions you have regarding this? Any clarifications? Okay, so let's go to the next verse now. Chid Vaibhav. A Bhuvarloka, Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Ara Swargaloka, Maharloka, Jana Tapa, Satya Brahma Loka. In this realm are Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, and Brahmaloka. Atala Sutala Adi Nimna Loka Shata, Maya ka Vaibhava Tava Shuno Jagannatha. Chid Vaibhava Purna Tattva Maya Chayatar. Below those planets are the 7 lower planets, which begin with Atala Loka and Sutala Loka. O master of all these planets, the Lord is what? Mayaka Chid Vaibhara. He is the controller of these planets. Please hear of your material potency. Your spiritual potency is all perfect and complete. Chid Vaibhava Purna Tattva. Your material potency is a shadow of your spiritual potency. So, what is this material potency? It is just a shadow of the spiritual Maya Chayatar. It is a Chaya. So, that is how this is called as, it comes now. Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga. It's Chaya Shakti. Maya on its own, or Durga Devi on her own, cannot act. She just follows the dictation of Krishna. She is not independent. Now he comes to the Jiva Vaibhav, the individual spirit souls. Chedanu Swarupa Jiva Vaibhav Prakar. Now this is from text 34 and 35. The individual spirit souls are tiny fragments of your spiritual potency. They belong to the Chid Vaibhav, but they are Anu in Swarupa. So this is very important point to be understood. And what is their quality of these Anu Chid Vaibhav? Chid Dharma Vashata Jiva Swatantra Ghatana Sankyaya Ananta Sukha Tara Prayojana. Because they are spiritual in nature, Chid Dharma Vashata, the individual souls possess free will. Jiva Swatantra Ghatana. There is no end to the number of the individual souls. Sankaya Ananta. They are motivated by the desire to find pleasure. Sukha Tara Prayojana. Everyone is looking for happiness. This is the nature of the jiva, that it is looking for happiness. So these are the jivas. Now there are 2 types of jivas Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions. The liberated jivas, Mukta jiva. Sei Sukha Hetu Yara Krishnera Barila Krishna Parshada Mukta Rupeta Rahila. Those souls who seek pleasure by associating with Krishna are liberated souls. They are Krishna's associates. The jiva's nature is to seek happiness. So those jivas who seek happiness in the association of Krishna, they are liberated souls. So highest definition of liberation he gives here. Then in the next 3 verses, that is 37 to 40, he explains the Baddha jivas. Baddha va Bahirmukha jiva. Yara puna nija sukha kariya bhavana parshvastita maya prati karila kamana. The soul who thinks he can be happy independently will yearn to stay on the side of Maya. Sei saba nitya Krishna bahirmukha haila Devi dhame Maya krita sharira paila. Turning their face away from the eternal Lord, these souls enter the realm of Devi Dham, where they attain material bodies fashioned by Maya. This is also brought out in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bahir book, Jhapati Tara Maya Dhare. I don't recollect the verse, but this is the verse which speaks in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. पुण्य पाप कर्म चक्रे पडिया एखाना स्थूललिंग देह सदा करे न भ्रमण. They fall in the cycle of pious deeds and sins. Residing in gross and subtle material bodies, they continually wander in that world. So because the jivas by nature are looking for happiness, they sometimes do punya so that they can attain happiness, and sometimes they do papa, and like that in papa punya karma, they are wandering. Where all they wander? Kabu swarga ute, kabu niraye padiya, 84 laksh yoni, bhoge brahmiya brahmiya. Sometimes they rise to Swargloka, and other times they fall to hell. They wander and wander in 84 lakh species. So this is how the jivas do punya and attain Swarga, and when they fall back again here, they again do papa, and then they attain Narka. So like that, they attain these different bodies in these 84 lakh species of life. Now, there was a footnote here, I think so. No, here it is in the next verse. Now, explaining the predicament of the jivas, now Bhaktivinoda Thakur from text 41 and 42, what is the mercy of Krishna? He explains. Even so, Lord Krishna gives his mercy to them. Although the jivas have turned away from the Lord and they have entered in this material world in order to seek happiness separately from the Lord, still the Lord gives his mercy. Tumi vibhu tomara vaibhava jiva hoy, dasera mangala chinta tomara nishay. You are the Supreme Lord, Tumi vibhu, and the individual souls are your potencies. Jiva Vaibhav belong to the Chit, the Lord. They belong to the Lord. Tomara Vaibhav. You always think of your servant's welfare. Dasera Mangal Chinta Tumi Tomara Nishray. So you think of how these jivas who have turned away and they have gone in this material world to enjoy separately, how you are always concerned how they can, be delivered. So here is a very important footnote which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has put. In whatever condition the individual soul may find himself, the Supreme Lord is always his friend and always fulfills his desires. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Mahesharam Suridam Sarvabhutanam Yatva Shantim Ruchati. Suridam, the Lord is the ever well-wishing friend of the jiva. And that is why he accompanies the jiva with him in the form of Paramatma, because the jiva belongs to the Lord. The Lord is the Father and the jiva is the Son. And there is an eternal relationship between the Lord and the living entity. So, Suridham means the heart-to-heart friend of the jiva. Suridham means the heart-to-heart friend of the jiva. Oh, sorry, I was not sharing the screen. I did not realize it. Please forgive me for this. I could not realize that I was not sharing the screen. I think when I keep this floating share screen, off, that time I don't realize sometimes. So please forgive me for that. So the Supreme Lord is the Surid, is the heart-to-heart friend of the Jiva. And being the Surid, he always fulfills his desires. So even in a hog's body, the hog desires to eat stool, and the Lord fulfills their desires. This is how merciful the Lord is. Because the soul desires like that, because the Lord is a well-wishing friend. But when that soul turns towards Krishna and wants to attain the Lord will fulfill that desire. So here in some points are there. The relationship between the Supreme Lord and the individual soul is eternal. It is eternal. Lord Krishna is the controller and the individual soul is controlled. Lord Krishna is the giver of laws and the individual soul must follow his laws. So in the material world, there are the stringent material laws which, the conditioned soul also has to follow. But in the spiritual world also there are laws. There are laws of love. The Lord is governed or controlled by love. And there are spiritual laws. You know, in the Sakshi Gopal pastime, you know, the young Brahmana said, if you can talk, you can walk also. The Lord became controlled by his love. And the Lord agreed that I will come walking. But the Lord put a condition there. And what was the condition of the Lord? That I will be walking backside you and you will hear my ankle bells, by which you can understand that I'm following you. And every day you should cook, rice and offer me. So why did the Lord put such a condition, to, this young Brahmana? I asked one sannyasi. He said, the Lord is controlled by love. And that is why, by the rope of love of this young Brahmana, Lord Gopal was walking from backside. So we must follow the laws. Either we follow the stringent laws of this material nature, be bound, or we follow the laws of love which operate in the spiritual world. Lord Krishna is independent and the individual soul is dependent on Krishna. Lord Krishna is a master and the individual soul is a servant. Lord Krishna gives the fruit of the work and the individual soul desires the fruit of work. So Lord of Krishna is the fruit giver and we are desires of the fruits. So we work for the fruits. So here it's a very important point which Bhaktivinoda Thakur will start now, discussing in detail about this point, what he's making. Last verse we will take for today. Dasayaha sukamani kare anvashana tumitaha kripa kare vitarana. You kindly bestow whatever happiness your servants seek. So the jiva's nature is to seek happiness, and those who are conditioned souls, they come in this material world and performing pious and sinful activities, they wander, and sometimes they go to heavenly planets, sometimes they come to the hellish planets. Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita explains Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhongte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karana Guna Sangasya Shad Asad Yoni Janmasu. See, they fall in the Shad and Asad Yoni like this. And Krishna, although the Jiva is caught like this, but Krishna is very Dayamay. And Krishna always thinks how to now, get this soul back. So now Krishna gets these souls back who are seeking pleasure in the material world through three different ways. That is Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and the Upasana Kanda, which is Bhakti. That will be the discussion systematically. Bhaktivinoda Thakur will follow from the next verses onwards, which we will take up tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we will start with text 43. Any questions, any clarifications you have till now what we discussed? Okay, so it's 8:30. We will stop here and tomorrow we will continue. Okay, there is one question. We will take up this one question. Liberation soul is nitya association with, and what about the jiva thinking Krishna and separation? Please, your words are not clear. Kindly, you can raise your hand and you can ask question, Prabhuji. What exactly is your question? I have unmuted you. Or you can record the question and send me on WhatsApp. I'll try to answer and post it in the group. Okay, so thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.